Well, Nicky was the youngest of my 4 children, 2 boys and 2 girls. And he was a special kid. He played hockey, he played football, he wrestled, he played soccer. He just was constantly moving. Loved the Pittsburgh Steelers fiercely, and just was an all-around nice kid.
When all the rest of the kids were in high school, he went to school an hour later, so I let him sleep in and actually drove him 3 blocks to the junior high and gave him lunch money instead of taking a bag lunch. So it was pretty special memories. It was great. He tortured me. We were opposing fans for our professional sports teams, and it was great fun. But he did torture me, because his teams usually won.
I was one of those moms that let the kids play sports in the house, which is probably not a good thing to admit. I constantly had broken lamps. There was marks on the ceiling from balls being tossed against the ceiling and bounced back. It was chaos, but it was also a wonderful way for the kids to grow up. We always had lots of activity, lots of noise, and lots of love in our house.
We had a unique relationship because of just the family dynamics, and because he was the youngest. He knew that he could get away with more from me than probably the other kids could, and I babied him, and he sometimes took advantage of it. But he was a great kid, and I will forever be thankful that I got to be his aunt for 16 years.
Well, he actually started playing football when he was about 10 years old. He played in midget leagues, but because he was a bigger kid, he was always playing on the teams that were a couple years older than he was. He started in 7th grade playing for the school, and that he was thrilled to be able to play finally for junior for a team at one of the schools, because his older brother had played at the high school level. And for some reason, the team always picked a song, and during that time there was lots of hard rock, and the rap was starting, and for some reason, we still don't know exactly why, they let Nick pick the song, and he picked Build Me Up Buttercup, which was the strangest song to be playing. But whenever we'd hear that blasting out of the locker room when the kids were getting ready to come out, we knew that the team was getting all revved up and that they were getting ready to come out. He has been practicing. They had started 2-a-day practices. He had been complaining that he was tired, but we thought it was because of the 2-a-days. And he had played in a varsity game of Labor Day weekend, and then he wanted to play. They asked him if he could fill in for somebody in the junior varsity game, so he did. And then I talked to him for quite a while on Sunday about the games, and talked to him about his brother and his cousin's football game, because they were in college at that time. And then he went to sleep on Sunday night and never woke up.
Just the disbelief. I mean, we had no idea Nick's heart was sick, none at all. This is news that you expect to get about your grandparent or your parent, your elderly parent, but not news that you expect to get about your 16-year-old nephew. It was absolutely unbelievable. It was shock.
And we know that he had a sudden cardiac arrest in his sleep. He has had a condition called hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, which is HCM for short, and it's the #1 cause that young athletes die, usually on the field or a lot of times in their sleep.
We just knew that we had to find something to be able to channel our energy into.
So we ended up in January of 2006 going to a conference for a group called Parent Heart Watch, and met 39 other families there that were just like us. And we were so inspired by their stories and the purpose that they had, that flying home on the airplane, Nick of Time Foundation was formed. And it's been one of the best decisions we ever made.
And we've been fortunate that the community's embraced us, and now the nation is also. And we've got families and communities from all over the country contacting us and asking us to help them. And that's an amazing thing to be able to do, is to pay it forward to to other states and other communities all the way on the East Coast to be able to help them prevent this from happening.
The focus for the foundation and our family has been on youth heart screenings, our CPR and AED awareness and education, and our Heart of Schools program, which places AEDs in our schools and communities.
When I think of ways to make our community safer from sudden cardiac arrest, I think of the efforts of the Nick of Time Foundation, specifically our heart screening program and our Heart of Schools project to put defibrillators in schools. These are the way we can make our community safer from sudden cardiac arrest.
That's why the foundation started, because we wanted people to know that this is something that happens to young people and young athletes every 2 days, and that it doesn't have to. If you can do a simple ECG test along with an echo, if there's reason for it, it can be prevented. Young kids don't have to die.
One of my missions as a physician is to understand more about how we can prevent sudden cardiac arrest and tragedies in young athletes and in the youth. I've been fortunate to get to know people like Nick Varrenti and her family in the Nick of Time Foundation, where we have a common mission of raising awareness and prevention. And together, I think we're making good strides in that direction. Our hope is that we can create a screening model that can be applied in other communities, where we can screen more of our youth throughout the United States to identify individuals with conditions at risk so they can get the right medical treatment before something catastrophic occurs. The Nick of Time Foundation is contributing their screening data for research purposes, and with that, the scientific and medical community is gaining a great deal of information that will allow us to understand how to screen young hearts better.
So I'm playing basketball. It's a pickup game. Hadn't played in a while, but you know, while we were playing, I felt pain in my chest and had to sub out, and you know, realized after, you know, not really understanding what was going on, that I was having a heart attack. And you know, Stacy called me back into the gym. I laid down and I looked up at the ceiling and I passed out. And the next thing I know, I can hear this woman's voice, and it's the voice of the AED, and I'm coming back to, and I'm trying to say, oh, I'm okay, and the guy's like, no, you're not okay. You know, you're, you know, this is what, you know, you need to lay down until the medics get here. I mean, I would not be here unless that AED was there, and the reason the AED was there was because the Nick of Time Foundation worked to put it there. It's hard to express, you know, your gratitude, and like, because you know, it's my life, and you know, all the people whose lives I touch are affected by that too. And so every life that you save has this sort of just, you know, exponential impact in the world. It's pretty amazing.
Looking ahead, the Nick of Time Foundation, with additional resources, can make a huge impact in the prevention of sudden cardiac death in the young through supporting additional research, supporting more community efforts for placement of defibrillators, and continuing to raise awareness about heart conditions in the young.
I am living proof that the Nick of Time Foundation saves lives, and you know, for the folks who are involved with that, I mean, every single donor, every single person who volunteers, you know, are contributing to, you know, saving people's lives, and that's really important work.
Nothing will bring Nicky back, but his spirit continues to live on in our family and through the foundation, and allows us to help other families and communities so that they don't have to go through the same thing that we did.